The San Francisco 49ers are set to hold their local pro day on today, and I'm excited to bring you the prospects that will be attending. Let's get right to it, right here on the WayneBreezie Show.
So bright that we shine. All we know is the Niners. Ready go that is finest. So faithful to the bay. I be sipping gold bar whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher. We so bright that we shine.
What's going on, 49er faithful? The WayneBreezie Show is back. It's good to be here. I know shows kind of slimmed down now that football season's over. We kind of go like once a week. But you guys get the B.A.M show daily, so make sure you guys are locked in. You got your alert set to all right here on the YouTube channel. I see the Breezy Bunch crew out there in the chat early. I love it. I love it. I love it. Definitely give some shout outs in a second or two. But make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe right here on the WayneBreezie channel. You can see the ticker down below. All right. If you feel like you want to join the channel, become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew, go ahead and click that join button, man, and sign up, man. Sign up for your boys so you don't miss out on all the cool fun perks. All right. And again, if you're new to the channel, if this is your first time watching, click that subscribe button. All right. Make sure that your alerts are set to all. All right. You want to make sure all, because there's a bunch of different type of shows that I try to bring to you right here on this particular channel. So make sure you check it out. All right. Do that for your boy. All right. If you're listening to it on your pod, you like the podcast version, like the audio version of the joint, check it out, man. On Spotify, we got polls, we got things going on Spotify podcasts as well as Apple Podcasts. So make sure you check it out there. Don't forget to leave a rating, a 5-star rating on top of that. Give us the 5. You feel me? Give us the 5. All right. And if you want that super exclusive content we got going on the Patreon right now, go to patreon.com/@TheWayneBreezie, where I'm giving you guys like in-depth live mock drafting, breaking down players, trades, all that good stuff, man. You can check it out there. I will be doing one right here for the YouTube family as well. I got a special guest this week that I'm going to be bringing on, but make sure you check it out on the Patreon as well as the Friday Night Light show that we got going on. And as you know, as the season kicks off, we break down film, we break down cornerbacks film, we go over the offense, we go over the defense, we do all that good stuff. So go ahead and check it out, patreon.com/@TheWayneBreezie. Sign up for a tier, enjoy the extra exclusive content. All right, man, let's get down to it, man. Shout out to my bro, man, 49ers_throwback. First in the building. You get the air horns. Thanks for tuning in, faithful. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Peachy with the follow-up and saying that you were first in there. That's what I'm talking about, Peachy. What's going on, everybody? Nick Nice, what's going on, baby? Let's get it. You already know what time it is, fam. You already know. Colin, I see you out there. I know we ain't been on, but I appreciate you for jumping in here. My brother Manly's in the building, says, what's good? What's good, faithful? What's good, Wayne, man? I appreciate you guys for joining in. Shout out to the crew. Shout out to the crew. Salute you guys one time. So what's new in the 49ers world? You got the signings. So we'll go over the signings. And we signed a running back. We signed a tight end. A couple of veterans that we got here on the team. Running back Patrick Taylor Jr., tight end Eric Saubert. And we talked about them. They're I don't want to say that they're camp bodies. These guys are veterans, and we'll see what they do. Once OTAs start. All right, once OTA, these guys were signed to 1-year deals, and we'll see what they do. Once OTAs come around, we'll see who with the San Francisco 49ers with the current roster. They didn't remember, they got to fill their roster, 53 men. They got to get that roster before the 53. They got to get it up to 90. So they got to get 90 spots filled in, right? 90, and then they got to trickle it down to 53. And so we'll see what happens, right? So, these are some guys that are going to be coming in. The first impression of Eric Saubert, when I looked him up and I started watching, and you're going to get a blocking tight end. That's what you're going to get. Don't look for a receiving type of a tight end. Not saying he can't catch, but he doesn't have high production at that. As far as Patrick Taylor Jr. is the running back, you're just going to get another running back, right? You're going to get another running back in the core. If you remember what the Niners did, it seems like that particular position, other than last season, but the years prior to last season, a lot of injuries to that position. And who was the veteran that we kept bringing up and down off the practice squad? This might be Patrick Taylor Jr. might be that new practice squad running back candidate without all the accrued seasons. I'm just saying that might end up being what he is, because you better not put Jordan Mason on the practice squad. If you do, a team's gonna call and sign him. You got to remember, when the guys go on the practice squad, technically they're like week to week contracts, right? Like they're not signed to the team; they're signed to the practice squad. So another team could come in and scoop you right up, right? They offer you a deal. And so that's the life of living on the practice squad. So we'll see what happens with that. What's going on, Oscar? I see you out there, bro. Salute to you, my family. And look, this is a couple of new signings. And again, got to get that roster to 90 men and things like that. Just to go over what's going on with the 49ers as far as their off season. You got the OTA days. These are per Matt Barrow. So the first day will be April 15th. Today's the pro day, which is April 10th. But April 15th will be the first day. OTAs begin May 20th and they end on May 31st. So there's the dates. And then there's mandatory minicamp June 4th. And as the other dates come along, I'll make sure to get you guys the other dates as well. Now, the NFL draft is literally 15 days away. We are Jawan Jennings days away from the NFL draft. Lake City, what's going on, baby? It wasn't Tevin Coleman, Oscar. It might have been last year. It was a running back we kept re-signing. And Nichols, Jeremy McNichols. Did I say that right? McNichols or Nichols? Jeremy, something Nichols. They kept bringing him in and bringing him back. Like bringing him in, bringing him back. But he never really got burned, right? Like he never really got burned. I think it was Jeremy McNichols. I think that was the guy from last season. I think that they brought back. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Lake City? I hope you're doing good. Vince, he says, hey, Wayne, would you take an offensive tackle in the first round or best player available? I would love a wide receiver. So I have so many different takes on what I would do. I'm always best player available because I feel like the 49ers have addressed every single need on their roster, right? Now, how are those needs better? Going to make the team better? That is to be continued. That's to be determined. We don't know yet. But they've addressed every single need. So when they hit this draft, they literally can look at, the positions and say, hey, let's just make this team with the best people available. Now, there are some areas I want them to target in the draft. There are some areas that I want them to target in the draft. Don't get it twisted. An offensive line is where I would like for them to target, not just tackle, literally the offensive line. Like they usually don't address the offensive line for some reason to 4th round, 5th round. I'm hoping this year, even though this is a deep class, I'm hoping that, Chris Forrester, those that are scouting for the offensive line really get the opportunity to get players that fit, that can help make this offensive line better in 2025, 2026, 2027. So I think that they definitely need to address the offensive line more than any position. But to answer your question, if you got a top receiver just smacking you in the face at pick 31, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. So check this out. And I like this. You said your favorite wide receiver that you would love for them to get would be Roman Wilson. I'll say Roman Wilson, wide receiver out of Michigan, slot guy, right? But he's probably the best blocking wide receiver in this draft. You ain't got to worry about teaching him how to block. Now he might got he would have to come in and get the blocking schemes fit and stuff. But he's a smart kid, and he's a problem in the slot. Not a big outside guy, not super duper physical when it comes to route, but he's a great route runner. He can get open, and you can really utilize him in the slot. Michigan guy, I don't know if that's the route that the Niners are looking to go. I do think they address a slot wide receiver position. I just don't know if they want to go with a smaller slot like they did with Trent Taylor back in 2015, 2017. Sorry, fifth round pick, 2017. I'm not sure if they want to go that route. That would be kind of like that Roman Wilson, or do they want to go with a bigger guy like a Jawan Jennings? So I don't know, but I definitely love Roman Wilson. Dawn Dell, what's going on, man? Good morning to you as well, Dawn. So I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's definitely got to look at best player available every time I look at a draft. And I think that's how the 49ers set it up, right? And I just don't know who's on their top, I don't know for the 49ers who their guys are, right? Like, for instance, when they drafted Brandon Ayuk, I didn't know Brandon Ayuk was going to be on their big board. I didn't even know, and this is not no disrespect to Brandon Ayuk, but wide receiver out of Arizona State, I didn't really, for number one, I wasn't big into the draft at that time as far as scouting and getting the it wasn't me then. It's becoming me now. So I wasn't huge on a lot of it. I didn't even know who CeeDee Lamb was coming out of college. You get what I'm saying? So, like, I would focus on other positions. But the Niners clearly had him on their big board, wide receiver, Arizona State, and they traded up to get him. So it's so interesting, right? Like, we don't know the players that are going to be on their big board. Like, it's super duper. It's like you're waiting. Like, we're stuck in limbo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were literally stuck in limbo. It was Jeremy McNichols. Yes, sir, Oscar. Jax is in the building. Jax says good afternoon from the East Coast. Happy hump day. Hope everyone is having an amazing day. I always forget today is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. What's going on, Corey? I see you out there as well. Brandon is in the building. Brandon says, if Kyle don't go O-line, I'm going to start calling his ass McFly. He's that. So I guarantee you Kyle's gonna it's not just Kyle, but the 49ers are going to address the offensive line. What I was saying though was I wouldn't be surprised if their guy is gone. Let's say they got two guys. Let's say they got three guys. And the difference makers in this draft are early up. So you got to look at the teams that are going to be getting those difference makers, like the Troy Fontanus and the Talisi Fuagas and the Joe Alts and what's the kid out of Penn State. Those are the top guys. Maybe you could sneak in J.C. Latham in there as well from Alabama, right tackle. Like, you could sneak those guys. But those guys, to me, you got to move up to get them. And I don't know if the 49ers, again, if one of those guys are their guys, then I can see them properly moving up. But if let's say if there's some best players available and none of those guys are there that they wanted at 31, but they see 5 to 6 to 7 players available in the second round. Early, I can see the San Francisco 49ers trading away the first round pick and getting an early second round pick. So keep the Panthers, Niners on your radar. I could see them trading for that 7th pick in the second round, getting an early pick, still keeping their pick, and possibly not giving up anything to get them. Check out I did a mock draft for the Patreon members. You got to check it out. You can see what I gave up. And when I use walkthemock.com, they give you the value and the points to see if the trade even makes sense. Like, if you do a wicked, like, where your points aren't even close, they won't accept the trade. So that's kind of cool. Like, you know what I mean? Tanisha, what's going on? She says, good morning, Breezy and faithful family. Peace and blessings to you all. Good morning to you as well. Fernando, what's going on, man? Look, I appreciate you for being number one, bro. I gave you the air horns at the beginning of the show. I'm going to give you the air horns right now. Appreciate you, dog. Get at me, dog. Get at me, dog. I like it. Snoopy, what's going on, dog? I see you out there, man. Shout out to everybody that's actually watching live and listening. And we got the Twitter on here, or not Twitter, X. I got to start saying X. I don't, it's tough. But, guys, if you're watching on X, do me a favor, man. Join the YouTube channel, right? Subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch it on there. Please. I appreciate it. You know, why you can watch it on both for all I care. But anyway, I would look to see if the Niners are looking to trade back if they're not trying to trade a player or anything like that. So there's so many options options that will be available. But again, it all depends on who's on their big board and who's going to be available. And the one thing I do know about John Lynch is he is not afraid to move around. First draft, 2017, moved around, moved up, back into round one. Said, hey, we got us a first round pick and Solomon Thomas. Let's move back up and get another first round pick. Let's start building this defense. We'll start in the trenches. We'll get the second layer at the linebacking spot. So we know John Lynch does not care about picks. It is not who he is. It's not what he does. But I can guarantee that the 49ers will address the offensive line. And please, faithful, when this draft come, if they don't address the offensive line in round one, just relax. I'm not an offensive line connoisseur, but I've definitely put more attention to what the Niners can do in this draft and building the offensive line. There's tons of prospects. You know what I'm saying? Miss Debbie's in the building. What's going on, Miss Deb? She says, hey, Wayne, blessings to everyone in the chat, especially the BB. See how she gives the BBs a little extra love? Like those are that you have to become a BB, you got to join. You got to become a member. Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe. Thank you, Miss Deb. And so look, man, it's all good. Now, what's going on today? You know, a little Niner talk kicking off. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about these players. The Niners have 11 players that will be attending their local pro day. And I'm excited. I made a little chart, you know what I'm saying? And some are vets, some are veterans, and most of them are, guys that are set to be drafted. They may not get drafted. It's crazy. But the local pro day is going to be a nice little tryout for some players. Niners can get some workout. They can kind of like sign some of these guys. And let's take a look at the vets, because I think the veterans, especially one in particular, like really stands out. One in particular. Quick shout out from our sponsors over at Residency. Guess what? They got an Easter sale, a spring sale going on right now. So make sure you guys go over to residency.com, use the promo code SFBreezie, all right, and you can save on your purchase. So you'll save on your purchase with the sale as well. The link is in the description of the show. All the sponsor links are in the description of the show. So feel free to check them all out. Not trying to take your money, but listen, if you guys want to rock some fresh gear, some fresh caps, man, check them out, man. Go over there, check them out, all right? And the promo code is SFBreezie. I should make the same promo code on all of the sponsors. I don't know why I just don't do that, but sometimes I like to include other things. All right. So there it is. All right. So check that out over there. But again, the local pro day is today. Hopefully a little bit later, we'll have some film, some breakdowns, all that good stuff. And we'll see what happens. But let's check this out. Right. So I'll blow this up for those that are, vision impaired, if I can. Yeah, I forgot I'm using Google. So we're going to go to the 200%. All right. So let's check out now. The yellow, highlighted in yellow, those are the UDFAs that are vets. The highlighter in green is the veteran that was drafted. And we'll talk a little bit about Kellen Mond. I was trying to find, maybe I could find it differently, but Kellen Mond is trying out for the San Francisco 49ers on today. And there's a poll question going on right now. It's weird because PFF gave him 0 snaps. Now, he was drafted in 2021. He was a 3rd round draft pick in 2021 to the Minnesota Vikings. All right, 3rd round draft pick out of Texas A&M. All right, to the Minnesota Vikings in 2021. And there are some stats, his career stats, and I'll see if I can pull those up. I hate using ESPN because they always have some type of video, and I feel like a video is about to load, so I'm gonna get out of that. But it doesn't have much on him. There's not many stats. So he's a 66.7 completion percentage quarterback. His rating is a 70.1. He has a completion for 5 yards in 2021. I'm trying to look up his 2023 stats without that. So hold on, let me see if I can go here. All right, so yeah, man, that's all we got. 2 for 3. 2021 is what he played. 5 yards, 3 attempts, 2 completions. Ugh. So this kid was kind of like a prospect. I think I remember. I gotta ask Mike. Remind me to ask Mike. Didn't he have him as a prospect? The 49ers drafted him in 2021 because I remember hearing his name, Kellen Mond, before. So Kellen Mond, out of Texas A&M. You got to look up his stats from Texas A&M to see how well he played. Let's see if I can find those. Because there's literally like no NFL stats. I mean, so all right, so here we go. So Texas A&M, remember he was drafted. He got a pretty damn good quarterback rate in Texas A&M. I mean, dang. I mean, SEC kid. His career in college, 59% completion percentage, 9,661 yards. He averages 7.1 yards per attempt. He has a total of 71 TDs. Check this out. 71 TDs to 27 interceptions. That is amazing. His rating was 132 overall. So his Texas A&M career, he did all 4 years at Texas A&M. Was pretty dang good. And his senior year, he had the highest completion percentage. He had the most yards in 2018 at 3107 with 24 TDs. But in 2020, this last year there, before he was drafted, he had 3 interceptions with 19 TDs, averaging 8.5 yards in the air average, and then 7.7 yards per average. I think this kid was a problem. And then you get the rushing. You get the rushing ability. I kind of like this. So you get the rushing ability. He had 438 attempts for 1,608 yards. He averaged 3.7. Yo, Kellen Mond had 22 rushing TDs in his career in Texas A&M. 22 rushing TDs at Texas A&M. 22. This kid is a dual threat problem. He kind of reminds me of what like Josh Dobbs does. But Dobbs did it in the NFL. There's a poll question going on. I'm curious to know what you guys think. If Kellen Mond tryouts go well, who's the odd man out at the quarterback position? Is it Josh Dobbs, Brandon Allen, both, or neither? All right. Right now, Brandon Allen is leading with 74% of the votes. Now, if you're not watching on YouTube, you can't participate in the poll question. So that's free. So just click on the YouTube channel, hit subscribe, enter the poll question. All right. So this is interesting. All right. This is interesting. So Jack says, I say he can replace Brandon Allen. Yeah, I guess. What's going on, Kylie? Kylie says he remembers Grant Cohn. He was high on Kellen Mond. So maybe it was Grant Cohn high on Kellen Mond. I mean, there was a quarterback I remember Mike being high on. I just can't remember who it was in this particular draft. I can't remember. So I'm going to ask Mike a little bit later. You know what I mean? I'm going to ask Mike a little bit later. Yeah, look, I don't know. Tryouts is one thing. I don't know how much the San Francisco 49ers are going to, especially when it comes to the quarterback position. Like, Kellen Mond is literally going to have to go out there and like, wow, the San Francisco 49ers for them to offer him a contract, because then they will have 4 quarterbacks, which I'm all for. But if Kellen Mond walks out with a deal, I'm like, the Niners will have 4 quarterbacks entering camp. And I don't know, like, isn't that too many? I know you got to fill the 90-man roster, but I'm all for competition. So if Kellen Mond balls out, which I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping he has a great tryout. I would like to see Kellen Mond, Josh Dobbs, Brandon Allen dig at it for that quarterback 2 position. This is all about quarterback 2 for me. All about quarterback 2, right? I don't know. So I'm cool if like I said, if he balls out, I'm cool for the competition once camp starts, once the OTAs hit. I'm all for it. I'm about that life. Because you already know Brock is 1. He's going to get all the snaps. And then if the question is, Josh Dobbs has done it in the NFL. Brandon Allen has done it in the NFL. The issue is Kellen Mond hasn't done anything in the NFL. I'll give you his stats again, and I'm just not a shot at him. All right. He played like in 1 game, and he went 2 for 3, 5 yards, average 1.7 yards. So nothing to really hold his weight. So the thing is, your hope, he's hoping he's in great shape. He comes out there and he hits this guy, Tariq Owens, a lot. All right. And all the different tight ends. All right. So we're going to get to Tariq Owens in a second. We're going to get to some of the young players, but let's go over the other vets, the UDFAs. And you can see they got one from 2019, 2021, 2022. All right. Check this out. So Curtis Hodges, Hunter Camp Moyer, and Tommy Sweeney. Okay. Now I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like only one of these players actually has reps in the NFL. Only one. Can you guess which one? Curtis Hodges, Hunter Camp Moyer, or Tommy Sweeney? Which one actually took some NFL snaps? Just curious to see what you guys think. All right. So put it in the chat. I'll let you know if you're right, if you're wrong, all that good stuff. All right. But look, these are 3 veteran tight ends, which is interesting to me because the Niners are trying out 3 more tight ends. They just signed Eric Saubert, and on the roster is George Kittle. Oh my God, there's another tight end. Hold on, man. 49ers depth. There's another tight end for the 49ers. Let me get his name. Shout out to Our Lads, man. We got to do some type of partnership over at Our Lads. All right. Jake Tonges, number 88. So these are the 49er tight ends as of right now. George Kittle, veterans. Jake Tonges, then Braden Willis, Cameron Latou, and Eric Saubert has just been added. They're going to try out 3 more tight ends, as you can see on today at the Pro Day, and I guarantee you that they're drafting a tight end. This is so cool. I'm not sure what the process is, but I think they're really looking. I'm hoping when we're talking about the draft, I'm really hoping that they find somebody not to replace George Kittle, but somebody that really can complement George Kittle. Like the perfect complement, like a Jatavian Sanders out of Texas, a Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State, Theo Johnson, the athleticism out of Penn State. Like, these are some of those dudes. You guys know I like Jarrett Wiley. 'Cause you're not going to get the blocking that you want from a Jarrett Wiley 6'7" tight end out of TCU, but gosh darn it, once he catches the ball, he's a weapon. I hope they get a great compliment. When I look at these other guys, I'm like, I don't see any complimentary going on. As far as the young guys, I would like to see how they're going to use Braden Willis, because I think they can kind of utilize him like I think they would utilize Theo Johnson if they drafted Theo Johnson. And then Cameron Latou, is he going to be a sure fit for the 49ers? Those are question marks. Like, you just don't know. But these guys right here, Curtis Hodges, Hunter Camp Moyer, Tommy Sweeney. Hunter Camp Moyer is the only tight end attending the Pro Day, 6'4", 243, out of Oregon. As you can see, he was drafted in the year he was supposed to be drafted was 2021. He was in UDFA, which means he didn't get drafted. He has one snap, one block. He finished with, it was a run block on top of that. And so, his career, he has a total of 4 offensive snaps, and all run blocks. So the time he's been in the game, he only blocked for the run. Only blocked for the run. And his run blocking grade in 2023, because he had a snap, was a 65.6. In 2021 was a 67.2. So yeah, run blocking. There's a blocking tight end. Kind of reminds me of a Eric Saubert, like another blocking tight end. They're really trying to replace Charlie Warner, who left the 49ers, right? They really are trying to replace Charlie Warner as that run blocking guy. And remember, Warner was, and say I'm not mad at this because Charlie Warner was the run blocking tight end. Did he get a few pass attempts? Yeah. Had a few catches. Absolutely. But he was mainly there for run blocking. So I see what the Niners are doing. They're literally trying to figure out who's going to be the run blocking tight end. Because I'm like, give me some, like, and I know you won't see this unless they're particularly like around the goal line. But if the Niners could get their tight end situation, they can hit you with a 13 type of personnel. I wouldn't even be mad if they gave us a 12 personnel, but used Kyle Juszczyk as a tight end. And it's just so many things that they can do, right? So many things that they could do at this position. But who's going to be that stand-up run blocking tight end? And so Camp Moyer out of Oregon has actually done it in the NFL. Curtis Hodges, Tommy Sweeney, they have no snaps to like, or no validity to show validity that they even, you know, they can do it on an NFL level. College level, yes. NFL level, it's to be determined, but they're going to get a workout. So these guys got to work out, man. And Eric Saubert, who signed the 1-year deal, the tight end, job isn't safe. One of these guys can blow the 49ers tight ends coach out of, is it Johnny Holland? I always get the tight ends coach mixed up with the linebacking coach, so don't mind me. But the tight ends coach, they blow him out of the water. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like Curtis Hodges, Hunter Camp Moyer, Tommy Sweeney. One of these dudes, Sweeney, last team I think he played for was the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. What's going on, media? How you doing, fam? And so we'll see what's going on. Look, we'll see what's going on. They also, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring back Ross Dwelley, but the Niners aren't even thinking of him as an option. Crazy, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping Ross Dwelley gets a deal because I really like Ross Dwelley, but they aren't trying to bring him back. Like usually the Niners will look to bring him back. Now, if they do bring back Ross Dwelley, it would be after the draft, unfortunately. So I think that's interesting. So we talked about Kellen Mond. We talked about Curtis Hodges. We talked about Hunter Camp Moyer, Tommy Sweeney, just college guys that stood out. And I agree with my bro Snoop, man. Like the tight end circle definitely took a hit. It took a hit. And it's always been George Kittle, but why can't we figure out? I mean, I think you're going to literally have to draft. They could have addressed the tight end position. I still think Robert Tonyan's available. Like, I'm surprised they didn't go with a savvy vet like that. Like, you know what I mean? But, hey, it is what it is. They're looking to get a blocking tight end. They're looking to have your best tight end, which would be George Kittle. And I think they're trying to develop these young guys. I see Jack says, I want to see what Latu can do. I think everybody does. Unfortunately, he had the injury. I think it was the meniscus. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. That sat him out the whole season. So we'll see like how he pans out. I do remember him not just being able to catch well. And that's a problem. That's a problem. My boy Maui says, man, just bring back Vernon, Walker, or Delaney. If you guys don't know who these tight ends are, yeah, man. Like I like Delaney, Davis, Breezy. Hey, listen, they gotta figure out. So there's some guys like there's the Jaheim Bells. There's the Theo. Like there's some guys you can get that I feel like can fit very well. Young, cheap, but athletic from the tight end position. And I don't think that there's going to be a huge run on tight ends in the draft. So I can see the 49ers really looking into the draft. Media says, please don't bring back Ross Dwelley. I don't know why people don't like Ross Dwelley. Whenever the ball's thrown to him, he catches it. It doesn't matter if it's low, high, to the side, to the right, to the left, up, down, B.A., select, start. It doesn't matter. Like, he has really good hands. They just don't give him opportunities anymore. Don't know why. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You know, I don't know why. Don't know why. I don't get it. I just don't understand why Ross Dwelley wasn't utilized. Maybe because they needed him more as a run blocker, and he just wasn't that. But man, like you got to utilize these guys for their strengths, man. Why even have them on the team? Why have them on the team if you're not going to utilize their strength? All right, let's start at the top of this list. Isaiah Ivory, cornerback. We'll go defense first. Isaiah Avery, excuse me. Did I say Ivory? Isaiah Avery, cornerback out of Portland. The Portland State Vikings. I promise I've never heard of this school before in my life. He predominantly in 2023 played all on the left side. All on the left side. All right. All on the left side in Portland. Let's see what his best graded game would have been. It was against a college called, you're not going to, Nosta. Now, his worst grade was against Oregon. So I'm curious, right, to see how well this kid can play against really, really good competition. They got him listed on PFF, 6 feet, 175 pounds. He had a 69.2 defensive grade, a 62.8 run defensive grade, a 57.3 tackling grade, and a coverage grade, though, of 70.1. So his coverage grade was pretty darn average. Didn't blitz, didn't have many pressures. Didn't have any pressures. As far as tackles, he had a total of 24, only 5 missed tackles. He did have 2 stops. He was targeted, though, 40 times and only gave up 23 receptions. It's not a bad kid. 4 PBUs, 2 interceptions. I'm just curious to know, like, can he do it against elite talent? That's what these guys are coming into this pro day to really showcase their skill sets amongst the drills and things like that. And so I'm curious. I mean, Kellen Mond's going to be throwing, and I feel like, I mean, he should have a field day against these tight ends, but I don't know how many of the, other people are going to be attending the pro day that's going to probably work out, so we'll see. But these are the 11 that I have registered. So Isaiah Avery out of Portland. And then we'll go with let's go with Jamie Navarro, offensive lineman. Now, he played tackle, so I do want to talk about him playing tackle from San Jose State, the Spartans. All right, right tackle. So you guys are we can potentially be looking at a right tackle right here. I know a lot of people want that, right tackle. But his grades weren't particularly great. I mean, like they just weren't good. Now I would say San Jose State played some decent talent, right? They played some really good talent. They played Oregon State, they played Toledo, they played Boise State, New Mexico, Utah, Hawaii, so the UNLV. So they played some decent talent. His run blocking grade, though, is a 53.7, and pass blocking grade was a 55.7. Overall, 55.4. He gave up a total of 29 pressures. I mean, it's a no for me. That's just like a red flag. That's a lot of pressures. 5 of them were sacks. 1 was a hit. 23 were hurries. He only had 4 penalties on the year, but that's a lot because they don't play as many games as the NFL. But you get yourself a right tackle. So I'm curious to see, how well he performs, how well he does well at the pro day. First of all, I'm wishing all these players the best of luck. But this is going to give the 49ers a closer look with the coaches and things like that. So Jamie Navarro, right tackle, from San Jose. Let's go Tyler Manoa. Tyler Manoa, defensive lineman out of Arizona. All right. So Arizona, I'm sorry. It's like one player, maybe 2 that I'm really paying attention to from Arizona. That will be left tackle Jordan Morgan and wide receiver Jacob Cowing. All right. So those are the 2 Arizona guys, Wildcats, that I just got my eye on. But Tyler Manoa. All right, I spelled his name wrong, so let me go ahead and make sure I spell his name right here. My apologies. Let's get it fixed right here. Tyler Manoa. All right, so boom, there it's fixed. Can't talk about my typo. So Tyler Manoa. What did he do in college? As far as his grading, overall 52.1, 59.8 rush, tackling 47.1, pass rush 55.4. He was asked to drop back in coverage a couple of times, finished with a 61.2. So here's his pressures. He had 5 pressures, 1 sack, 4 hurries, a batted down pass. He had a total of 24 tackles, 6 missed tackles. He had 9 stops, though, in the backfield. All right, 9 stops in the backfield. Trying to see, he had a total of 6 penalties on. They always look at penalties as well. Now, he played his first 4 years of college at UCLA. Then he must have transferred to Arizona, where he really became the dude, but he didn't have a great grade. So again, haven't watched film on him or didn't pay any attention to him, so I'm just going off of how they graded as in their 2023 career year. But overall, man, if you're looking at overall production, he has a total of 30 pressures, 3 sacks. So that's not a good, right? So 30 pressures. He's 310, 6'5", 310, run stuffing guy probably, but 30 total pressures, 3 sacks, 5 hits, 22 hurries, 3 batted down passes, almost 70 tackles, 12 missed tackles, 30 stops though in the backfield. He's there to stop the run. Like, this would be not huge up the middle, but he's there to stop the run for sure. For sure. Let's go with Austin Jones. All right, let me get rid of some of these let's get rid of some of these tabs. So Austin Jones, we did Isaiah Ivory, right? Let's go Austin Jones, running back from USC, the Trojans. All right, the Trojans. Now they play. What's their conference? The Big 12, Big something. I don't know. Pac-12, not Big 12. I think the Pac-12. Anyway, they played some really good competition over there at USC, and I guarantee you he wasn't the starting running back. The other kid, Marshawn. Can't think of his last name. Probably was the bell cow, but he has been in college for a minute. Okay, just wanted to put that down there. He's been in college for a minute. All right, so first 3 years he did at Stanford. His last 2 years, so 5 years. Last 2 years he did at USC. 2022 was his best year. I probably should talk about his 2022 grades. But 2022, he was the man. Like, he was the dude, right? 82.6 grade on offense, 91.4 rushing. Like, he was the man. Okay? Like, this dude was a problem. 2023, again, I think he had to start to share some snaps. You know what I mean? And you had a different type of running back out there. I can't remember his name, but he's probably going to be one of the top running backs in the draft this year. But yeah, let's talk about what he did in 2023. Finished with a 70.9 overall grade. And he started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He started 6 games though. Started 6 games. Played in all of them. Started in 6. Interesting. Started 6 games. Here's what I like about him though. Yards after contact. I think when I look at the 49ers, I look at players, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Christian McCaffrey. What's the one thing that they can get is yards after contact. Yards after contact and then explosive runs. You guys know when I look at these running backs, like, I don't expect them to turn the ball over, right? And I look at yards after contact and explosive runs. I want to see what those explosive runs look like. Now, going off of his 2023 season, hit 217 yards after contact. All right, 217, and then he had 14 runs, 10 plus yards. 14 runs, 10 plus yards. He rushed or was responsible for 24 first downs for his team. Since we're talking running back, they have to be able to do the other thing as a running back, and not just block. But we'll look up his pass blocking grade. But I want to know what he did. His pass blocking grade was a 55.1. Glad I looked that up. That's not really good. But most of these young cats aren't asked to block like that in college because of the way that their systems are. I want to know if he could catch. I think that's what I care about. 12 targets, 10 receptions. Not bad. 93 yards and a TD. So he finished the season with 93 yards and a TD. And again, this is him as sharing the responsibility, sharing the load in 2023. So, it is what it is. Jack says she wants me to define. Oh no, Kylie says he wants me to define mintant. It's just Mike says I be having my my own breezyisms. So, it's just the way I say the word. 49ers _ throwback says, and you really want a defensive tackle? I do. I still do. Is that okay? Like, is it okay that I still want a defensive tackle? I'm sorry. Like, I listen, I'm confident in Hargrave. I'm confident in the pieces that we added, but I'm also thinking about the future, and all three of those guys in the interior aren't there for the long term. So I'm super confident. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. So I want a defensive tackle like a Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa. You can get the kid Jefferson out of LSU. I'm not saying you got to go high, but it's going to be crazy because in this particular draft, Jerzon Newton, Johnny, he may fall. Byron Murphy the second, I don't think is going to fall. I hate to say this, like I'm a hard pass now after the news that came out about T'Vondre Sweat and getting arrested. I think I'll be a hard pass. I just don't want the trauma of police and 49. I just don't like it. So I'm a hard pass on him now, but I'm sure whatever team that drafts him, he's going to be grade A, ready to go. I just think that the Niners might want to pass on. Listen, I'm all cool getting a defensive tackle. I just don't think that they have to that's not the first and foremost thing that they need to do when it comes to defensive tackle. But I think they should address it. I do. I do. And you can see that they're working out one. And so that would be Tyler Manoa. All right. So let's get to Dylan Wyatt. All right. Dylan Wyatt. All right, we talked about Austin Jones. Let's get to Dylan Wyatt. Man, they are looking at Arizona. Pay attention. Arizona is a school that they're looking at. Arizona, 6'1", 185. He only played in 8 games. 8 games out of the 13. He played in 8 of them. So you're gonna get some versatility out of this kid because he played a game at safety. He only started 1 game, that was against Northern Iowa, but he played in all 8. He played in the 8 games. Defensive grade 65.5. His run defensive grade, 65.9, 67.6. Tackling grade, coverage grade 63.3. He has 1 pressure. It was just a hurry. He had 5 tackles, 1 missed tackle. He had 2 stops though. He was targeted 11 times. Gave up 7 receptions. He didn't give up any TDs. He had 2 PBUs. That's good. And again, he played strong safety in one of those games. Now, throughout his career, he's just a versatile kid. He only did 1 year at Arizona in 2023. Started at Illinois, then went to California Poly, and then finished in Arizona. So we'll see. We'll see. So this is, again, this school, they're particularly looking at this school. Interesting, right? Interesting. So that's Dylan Wyatt. So that's 2 cornerbacks so far on this list. And we are continuing to go on the list. We're almost done. We got 2 more players. We got Tariq Owens, son of 49ers former wide receiver Terrell Owens. And then we got Lavelle Bailey that I spelled wrong too. So let me go ahead and fix that typo. What's up with the typos, Breezy? Sometimes you got to talk to yourself and let yourself know. Let's go with Lavelle Bailey first. Let's get him on here. So immediately I'm like, okay, he is a linebacker that can play weak side as well as the mic, right? That's kind of what he did. He had 1 game at Fresno State, linebacker, Fresno State, 6'2", 225, linebacker out of Fresno State. First week against Purdue, he was the weak side, and after that they moved him. Well, he played 2 games at weak side against Arizona State as well. That's where Brandon Ayuk went, and then Utah State will be his weak side linebacking games. That's where Dre Greenlaw plays. So if you want to know the weak side, that's where Dre Greenlaw plays. That means the linebackers got to be able to have speed and agility to be out there on the edge, stop the run, and drop back in coverage. And so that's what we're going to be paying attention to. His best game was against Purdue, believe it or not, as a weak side linebacker. So I'm going to give you his best game as a weak side linebacker, and then his worst game as a weak side linebacker, and the best game as a Mike linebacker, as far as per grades, right? So overall, he was a 68.4 graded linebacker, all right, in college. Not great for me, but week 1 against Purdue, He 59 snaps, and he finished with an 86.5 grade that game. All right. He had 2 pressures, 2 hurries, which were hurries. He had a batted down pass. He had 6 tackles. He had 1 missed tackle, 2 stops. He was targeted, but he gave up the catch. It was only for 6 yards. He had a PBU in that game. And so he lined up just about everywhere in that game, whether it was D-line, in the box, slot. He was all over the field in that game. His worst graded game as a weak side linebacker, I said there was 3 of them. So was against Utah State, where he had a 57.5 grade. He played less snaps, 20 less snaps, so 39. Yeah. And yeah, he just didn't do as well. He gave up too much. But again, like Mike linebacker, weak side linebacker, so he's quite versatile. 2019 to 2023, he did all his time at Fresno State. All this time at Fresno State, didn't go anywhere else, didn't transfer. In 2023, I mean, that's what you're looking at. He was targeted 34 times, gave up 23 receptions for 187 yards, 1 TD, but he had 3 interceptions. I want to talk about, and 3 PBUs that year. This kid might be a hidden gem. I know his grades aren't as great, but I don't care about that crap. When they get on the football field, that's the only thing that matters. Like, right? That's the only thing that matters. Lavelle Bailey, keep an eye out on him. I'm hoping he has a great pro day for the 49ers. I'm hoping he really stands out and they give him a call. I would like to see him there. Like, you know what I mean? I would like to see him there. So this would be interesting. This would be super interesting. Oh, man, this would be super interesting. I'm just reading some of your comments. Maui says, Breezy, you got to put out a dictionary like E40, bro. Incentives. Yo, that is my word, bro. Incentives is my word. Media says that was Rice. Did Owens say the same thing? Oh, you talk about Brendan Rice. No, I didn't hear. Oh, you talk about for Snoopy's comment. Now I heard Brendan Rice literally say it at an interview that he didn't want to follow in the legacy of his pops and he wanted to start his own legacy. So I heard Brendan say that. I didn't hear about that. I will check out Aaron Wilson, Media. Aaron Wilson, I'll check him out on a different show. Also, Media, we got to get together and do our annual 49ers mock drive. It'll be a recorded show, pre-recorded show, and then we'll post it, upload it. All right. So we'll definitely do that very soon. Let's talk about Tariq Owens. We'll cap this show off with my boy Tariq St. Patrick. That's the only Tariq I know. So no, I know another Tariq. He was a little different, but yeah. So let's talk about Tariq Owens, wide receiver out of Missouri State. Now, the Niners, he had a meeting with the 49ers. He had a formal meeting with the 49ers. He's from Missouri State, the Missouri State Bears. He plays outside wide receivers, so it doesn't matter if it's on the left side or the right side. So we play. He only started 2 games. Interesting. His best game was against Utah. Whatever that school is in Utah. Best game, 94.4 grade. Golly, he had 94.4 grade. All right, let's see where he lines up on the football field. All right, he's not a slot guy. So he's a 6'3", big wide receiver, 200 pounds, big guy. I posted his 40 time and all that stuff that he did at his pro day a little while back. Interesting, though. Interesting. Started his career off in 2020 at FAU. Finished it at Missouri State. He's just a 59.6 reception percentage receiver. 528 yards. He had 28 receptions on last year. Only 4 TDs. These would be the players that the Niners look to get and stash on the practice squad. But I'm not trying to throw any type of shade at the kid. His numbers just don't stick out. But that doesn't mean he can't be productive. I can't remember what his speed was off the top of my head. I feel like it was like a 4.4 or something like that. I can't remember what his speed was off the top of my head. I wish I could, but he's definitely was faster than his pops, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So these are the players, ladies and gents, that will be attending the local pro day. When you get your ears to those screets, definitely pay attention to what Kellen Mond is going to do. I'm sure the cameras are going to be all over him because that is a former third-round draft pick, and I think that will make it super interesting if the 49ers find a way to keep him. I'm curious to know. All right, so if Kellen Mond tryouts go well, all right, if Kellen Mond's tryouts go well, who's the odd man out? For the poll question, Brandon Allen with 62% would be the odd man out. So Brandon Allen wouldn't get any love, and I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. 23% was neither, 10% was Dobbs, and 3% was both. Shout out to everybody that voted. I appreciate you guys for participating in the chat section or whatnot. But there it is, man. Local Pro Day is going to be underway at some point today. Again, I'm on the East Coast, so it's late here. I'm sure it's kicking off right there out on the West Coast. Shout out to everybody that's going to be out there covering it, all the media. Appreciate you guys. Can't wait to get some stuff from you guys and break it down or whatnot. Again, tune back in today at 4 p.m. The B.A.M show, myself, Mike from Nothing But Niners. We are going to be going over the 5th round draft picks since 2017, where we played the 5th. We're going to talk about these 5th round picks. It just seems like that's the best round for the San Francisco 49ers. But we'll go through it. We'll break it down, man. Don't be late because we're going to be starting on time. On time. I don't have any UFL prospects as of yet. Maui, and that's a great question. All these players that we mentioned, they either went to college or they were in the league at some point. So no UFL prospects as of yet, though. As of yet. And then you have one more question. He says, with this interest in tight ends, are the Niners trying to go more run heavy or convert them into a replacement for Juice? That's a great question. It's really hard to replace Juice, though, because of his ability to be able to line up in the backfield, which you need that option. I thought Ross Dwelly was that because they would remember when Juice was injured, he was the one that they lined up in the backfield at that H-back. So I thought that would be, I think that's where Braden Willis would eventually end up. I think Braden Willis ends up being the fullback tight end sort of kind of replacement. I could be wrong. I just feel like I would like to see him do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and that's a great question because most teams, here's what the NFL is trying to shift to: 11 personnel, right? They're trying to bring out one tight end, one running back, and 3 wideouts, right? And so when you have a fullback out there, now it changes your personnel. So to me, Juice can be an extra tight end, but he's also an extra running back. So you need that. So if Brandon Willis can transition into that role, then that's good because now you're forcing the defense to come out there with different types of defenders because they got to be in run stopping type of defense because we got 2 running backs out there opposed to their nickel defense. And so it's all about Kyle Shanahan trying to figure out a way to take advantage, you know what I'm saying, of the defense. And so that's going to be interesting to watch. So Braden Willis would be the one that I would circle. I think Braden Willis is the one that would eventually replace the Juice. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm your host, WayneBreezie. We'll be back Friday. Friday may or may not be a live show, but there will be a show uploaded for Friday. It was going to be a special mock draft with a special guest from 49ers Web Zone. I'm super excited to do that with him, and I'll make sure you guys get that on Friday. But, guys, tune in today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mike Andrews, the one and only, the great. We're going to be going over these 5th round picks since Kyle Shanahan. And the crazy thing is, if Peters was the guy, how will the 49ers look to address the 5th round with only 1 pick in 2024? Till the next time, faithful, I love y'all, man. We out this Jones. Peace.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 4-9 preacher.